.uk for more coverage and full listings.
And we're live at Roses 2025. You're joining us here on a lovely, sunny and bright and not wet at all Sunday morning at the York Sport Arena. We're on the athletics track here for some more Ultimate Frisbee. You joined us earlier for the open match, which York won 13-6, which got 4 points for York in the points tally. Obviously, this is the final day of Roses, so it's coming up kind of to that point where it's kind of Lancaster's game if they want it. They're not far off. I believe when last time I checked, it was 8.5 points needed to win. But you're kind of joining us here just at the start of the mixed game. So this is a mixed Ultimate Frisbee game between Lancaster Fish and York. Max Roach, you're joined by
Thomas Macassar. Yep, you're joining us mid-match. York have scored their downwind point, so it is currently 1-0 to York. They're working hard on offense, trying to get the disc upwind, which is obviously harder. Lancaster are pulling tight match at the minute, but York are managing to find a way through.
And a lovely throw on this right side. Can it be caught by York? And it's just outside the end zone. And there we go. They secure the point, and I believe that is
2-0 to York, I believe.
And scoring the point was
Chloe Bennett-Lockie.
Chloe Bennett-Lockie, of course. Wonderful. So that is 2-0 to York. You're joining us here. They've broke their first win point, which is really good. I mean, in the open match earlier, you guys, when you broke that win point, that's kind of the change point of the game. That happened quite later on.
Yes, it's a big momentum swing, scoring upwind. So York will be really happy to have done that early. That's a really strong start for them. Lancaster will need to really push on this upwind point again. They're starting on offense, which is good, but they'll need a big momentum swing to get back in this game.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where Lancaster are trading points in that first match earlier on today. Nice bright and early at 9 o'clock. It was 4-4, and as soon as York got that break win point, it all kind of changed. The whole momentum of the game switched, and then from there, York managed to go 10-5, and went on to win that match 13-6.
13-6, I think, yeah, Max.
Thomas, you played in that game. How was that?
That game was really fun. I was on the D-line, so that's sort of the line that just gets scored against, but we try and make Lancaster's lives as difficult as possible, and I think we did that. If we can get a break point, that is a really big thing for us, and we managed to get 2, 3 or 4 of those, so that was really nice.
Yeah, that really changed the swing of the game. So getting this so early in this match is kind of unheard of, really. Especially now that York have the advantage of the wind as well, but it's now played into Lancaster's half. Can they find a way back?
Yeah, Lancaster are moving
match?
the disc nicely at the minute.
Here we go, number 58 in the middle, back to number 11, back to 58. Looking for a pass, possibly to the close side towards our cameras.
Yep.
Little close play, obviously this is important with the wind, and that's a lovely in the middle to number 38.
Yep, Lancaster have managed to break through that zone, so York will have to track back and try and recover and set up again. Lancaster are doing well at moving the disc and keeping York moving as well. Good swings coming out at the minute.
56. Ben League.
Shot's gone up.
And that's a catch just outside the end zone. Can they finish off the job? A lot of people on that far side.
Ooh.
And it's almost maxed into the hands of another Lancaster player, but it's reset for a York possession. Here we go, on the end of the end zone. Bit of danger zone here, but the wind's in their advantage. Lovely throw to Raphael.
Yep, good flow.
Fakes it deep and goes for it. Ollie Hart, can he catch it? No, he goes to Rory. Rory to Ollie Hart. Can he catch?
Oh, that is so close by Ollie Hart. Very unfortunate there, but it was a good movement from York. York will be happy to be pushing Lancaster all the way back into their end zone, and now they've got to work the disc all the way back up. Let's see what 99 can do here.
Ollie Hart, very notorious for his bids, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He is the layout king for York, so that was very unfortunate not to see that there, but I'm sure there'll be a good photo.
Some would say not very graceful with his layouts, but he does them quite regularly. I've never seen a man bid as much as he does, so it'd be interesting what he does, especially with the floor getting a bit wet. And that's a turn of possession again in York's favour, but it looks like they're doing a spirit call. So, Thomas, for people who've never watched Frisbee before, this is their first time watching it, you might notice there's not a referee on the pitch. Now, why is that?
Yeah, so Frisbee is actually a self-refereed sport. The players will call their own fouls and then they will have a discussion. On this one, it looks like it was a strip call, so the player hit the disc out of their hands, and it has been accepted by York, so Lancaster get the disc back, and they're back at working through the zone right now. Good swing coming across. 99 on the disc gone up. And Raphael has managed to catch that.
A lovely D play there by Raphael. He now works it over to Ollie Hart on the close side towards us. Ollie Hart down the line.
Oh, that's good yards from York. York seem to be playing a bit of huck and D at the minute. Get the disc downfield and then make Lancaster do all the work to get it back up again.
Here we go. Ben Leake in the centre. A few big kicks by number 30 of York. Not quite the catch Lancaster wanted. Almost got the rescue. Something you did quite a lot in that first match this morning, Thomas, with the rescues.
Yeah,
not quite getting the first catch. Was that because of the disc being wet? Because the weather? Is it the wind? Or is it the hands being cold?
Yeah, I think it's the hands being cold. Obviously, today has been a lot colder than yesterday.
In the end zone is Ollie Hart catching it, making it 3-0 to York, making advantage of this downwind. Really good cut there from Ollie, getting away from the person marking him to catch it in the zone. I believe that was Rory with the assist, potentially. Didn't quite see that. It was number 30 for York. What's his name, Thomas?
That is Matt Barber for York. He threw that assist there, very nice. Yeah, that is York's second break in a row, so they're really going to be feeling the momentum now. Lancaster are going to need to get their heads up and get a few points on the board. Fortunately, they've got the downwind now, so hopefully they can utilise that and get a point back.
Wonderful. Really good start here from York. I'm sure this could really take the zap out of Lancaster's game. Obviously, Lancaster doing quite well in their indoor fixtures so far at Roses.
Yes, I believe Lancaster Open beat York's Open in the indoors, and the mixed, I believe, went to York. So Lancaster will be hoping to equalise the scores here on outdoors as well and make it 2-2 overall.
Yeah, and then unfortunately the women's fixture has been forfeited on Lancaster side, I believe, due to lack of numbers, unfortunately. Which, you know, is a shame to see because the game's for everyone and you want to see that, but it's good that we managed to have the mixed fixtures, and also we got to see some of the amazing female matching players play in the open game earlier in the form of Chloe Benelocki as well as Izzy, who managed to get 2 scores actually in that match, so being very influential in that game. But here we go, Lancaster with possession, Benleek strolling over to the disc.
Strolling to the disc. They might be feeling tired after playing the open match.
Yeah, you know, a lot of familiar players, but the sidelines looking a bit more busy than they did during the Open.
Definitely.
I think a lot of people trying to hide away from the gold, but hopefully it starts to warm up near the latter half of this match.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, this was originally scheduled for 12:45. It's now been moved forward to 11:15 due to that cancellation of the women's fixture. A deep throw into the end zone, possibly for
Caught
Lancaster.
by 99.
Just outside. Can they find something in the end zone now? But they work it back,
Oh,
and a
that's
big
an unfortunate drop.
Big drop by Ben Leake. Some of the Lancaster players possibly a bit disappointed by that. Now, York working it up the upwind. Lovely catch there by Sparks on this far side. Down to Izzy. Izzy now with a disc.
Yeah,
looking to find someone up. Managed to find him. Who's out on the far side, Thomas? With
That
the disc?
looks like Eamon Dyer on the far side.
Now, I played in a tournament for
great
Eamon earlier this year at Yindoors, which is the York Indoor Tournament. Had the great pleasure playing with him, and what a player he is.
Oh, shot's gone through.
Lovely shot by Newton over to Izzy, number 18, just outside the end zone, for Rory to catch it inside, getting away from his mark.
Yeah, that's towed in.
And that is 4-0 to York. Not quite. Oh, bit of a delayed celebration. People not sure what to do.
I think people were a little bit unsure if Rory was in or not, but he was.
Very noticeable by his bright blue shoes, Rory. Very, I think.
Distinct. Distinct's probably the word we're looking for there.
Really, yeah, good description, Tom. Very good. But no, Eamon, really great player. Kind of fundamental in your match earlier. Playing alongside obviously vice captain Raphael,
yeah.
as well as Ollie Newton, who was extremely influential. Also extremely influential on other parts of the York team here at Roses. He also competes in the volleyball as well as table tennis. Such a great athlete, and it's good to see him play here again in this match. I think. God, what is his 16th fixture today? And
Something
it's not even,
like that,
not
yeah.
even 11. What a crazy man.
We term him the absent father of the York team because he just turns up and plays and then he's got to shoot off to a volleyball or a table tennis fixture.
What was he like as a captain during that match earlier?
He is a very inspiring captain. I think he doesn't place too much emphasis on winning and losing. Obviously, he wants to win, but he really makes sure that we put our 100% and all our effort in, and I think that's the most important thing. He's done a really good job at keeping a really positive environment in the team.
Oh, that's good to hear. Here we go. Lancaster possession now, going upwind.
I think the pull has been bricked, so because the pull went out of bounds, they're going to take it to about a third up the pitch, and play's going to resume from there.
Looks like York are going to be playing some kind of zone.
Yeah, that looks like a zone setup. It's good to do when the other team's playing upwind because it's harder to take those long shots, and they're going to be forced to move the disc a lot.
Wonderful. Here we go. Lancaster in possession, number 11 in the middle. Looks to find a pass over to number 46 with that
Good grab by
brilliant
46.
moustache. Playing it down, trying to switch sides.
Swatted down by Matt Barber.
Wearing the quite, I don't know, some would say problematic red gloves.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about them, actually.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure.
Nope.
Lancaster player just went down, but looks like it's not going to be called. And possession is switched again over to Lancaster, where York, unfortunately, not being able to catch it. Ollie Hart struggling to kick a bottle off the pitch. And it looks like Lancaster going to pick up number 11 on the sideline. Over into the middle, number 4, playing it over to the far side, number 56, looking for a pass. Oh, just gets out of it.
Bit of
Another big
miscommunication
D.
there, and Matt loves swatting the disc out the air. It's quite a fun thing to do in Frisbee because if the disc hits the floor for any reason, it's your disc on defense. So one of the things you can do is just swat it to the floor to get possession
And
back.
it's also quite beneficial as well because you get a bit of momentum, gets the players moving. Also, it means that when the disc reaches the floor faster, there's less opportunity.
Oh, big catch by Raphael.
Grab there by Raphael.
I think that is 5-0
That is 5-0
to York.
102, Raphael, vice captain of the Open team, catching it there in the end zone with a lovely turn of play, making it 5-0. Bit of a domination here by York early on. Bit dissimilar to your match earlier, Thomas. What do you think's changed?
I think obviously York are riding the momentum of the win earlier. I think these break points have been really, really beneficial, and I think that point there really shows you the power of downwind. If you can get a turn when you're playing downwind, the hucks and the long shots are so much easier because the wind will just carry the disc further.
Now let's see what Lancaster do here. Now they're working from 5 points up. This is quite abnormal. Usually the mixed games in Roses historically are quite well contested. I believe last year's was won by Lancaster, if I remember correctly.
I couldn't tell you, to be perfectly honest,
We're going to
Max.
have to fact check that for you. Potentially someone in the studio can
You
help us out with
you
that.
can check all the previous fixtures on Roses Live, actually.
You can. And talking about Roses Live, that's where you can find all the results from today, as well as all the streams and radio broadcasts. All the coverage today is done by LA1, YSTV, URY, as well as Bellrig FM. And also reports coming in from York Vision and the Lancaster student newspaper. And this is all volunteer work, so do bear with us if we do have some technical difficulties or streams having
long
problems.
disc in there. Caught by Eamon.
Lovely defensive play there by Eamon. But as I was saying, you can catch all the updates, especially on the scores and the points tallies on roseslive.co.uk.
Yeah.
Here we go, York working up the pitch on this fast side, away from our cameras.
It's gone over, but there might be seconds there. Nope, swatted down by a Lancaster player.
Down by Lancaster.
And now Lancaster will try and use this downwind momentum. Obviously, their long shots are going to be more on than if they were working upwind. Unfortunately, there was a turn there.
Here are those fish charts on the sign. Now, I spoke to Ben Leake, the captain, earlier, and he said that he can't tell me the story behind that fish, the name of the fish. Said it's not safe rare, so we can only just imagine and assume what happens there. But they are called Lancaster fish, famous for their tournament fish bowl, which I believe happens over the summer.
Yeah, I'd have to double check that, but that makes sense. I'm really intrigued as to why they're called Lancaster fish now. I'm gonna have to
maybe
myself
save
after.
that for the end of Roses celebrations. Maybe that's an off-camera discussion to be had.
Yeah. That looks like a Lancaster turn in their end zone. As this went out
a
there.
danger zone for Lancaster because York, a lot of break win points. Let's see if they can get it out their end zone here. Obviously, don't want to concede again, making it 6.
Yeah,
that pretty convincing.
The
already.
long huck has gone up. Rory has a bit of a tussle there.
Is that going to be called? Are they going to?
I think that was. There's a foul being called. They're going to discuss it now.
So, if you were Ben Leake and Anya Johnson, the Lancaster mixed captains, what would you be saying to your team right now?
I think I'd just be saying pretend it's 0-0.
0-0.
Because at this point it's very easy to get your head down when you're sort of 5-6 points down, but if you're going to bring it back, you need to start playing like there's a chance, and you need to give yourself hope that you can bring it back, and that comes from playing as if there's no score.
Now, if you're only just tuning in, you're wondering why we're having these conversations. It's currently 5-0 to York, scoring on I believe that was 3 break win points currently.
Yeah, 3 break win points.
Obviously now the temperature and the weather's getting a bit better, so those break win points are going to be a bit less out of the blue because the wind's less strong. But the wind is such a big feature of the outdoor game.
Yeah, I think that is probably the biggest difference between outdoors and indoors, is that you have to. There's a lot more tactics that come in around the wind.
Constantly battling the wind.
Exactly, and it makes or breaks games.
The element is the third player, really.
Yeah.
Here we go. What can Lancaster do here? 5 down. Currently the hands.
Good swings on the disc, making good progress down the field. That's number 38 to 99 now.
Trying to find something, faking that forehand.
Still counts getting progressively higher. That's a good shot from 99. There might be seconds
nice
on that
recovery
disc.
there, just bouncing off the body. Like, what can he do in the middle here? Now, Ben Leake looking for something. Little trade-off. Hammer into the end zone. Can it be caught?
Caught by number 21.
Kind of stolen off. One of the FEMA matching players there, potentially. But nonetheless, a point for Lancaster, making it 5-1.
Yeah, that's big for Lancaster. I think they needed that momentum to get going.
Spikes on the floor by the player. Maybe try not to do more of that, as I believe a disc was put out of play in the last fixture due to
yes,
maybe
there was
spiking.
a bit of tacoing, which is what we say when the disc gets bent from spiking.
And why is it important to replace the disc to make sure that doesn't happen?
If the disc is bent, then it just makes everyone's throws harder. It's irregular, and obviously the wind is a big factor, and your throws become a lot more unpredictable if the disc is bent. So we will always have sort of 5 or 6 discs on side in case any of them do get accidentally stepped on or spiked or anything else that could taco them.
And obviously in a very highly contested match like Rose's, the disc is going to get spiked.
100%. I think the emotions are really high. This is a big deal. This is sort of the biggest fixture of the year for both teams.
2 really good seasons from both sides. I mean, Lancaster have gone undefeated in Bucks, but their final, which is a big shame. And you guys winning Div 2 Nats.
Yeah, that was really big for us. I think everyone was a bit shocked, including myself. But we got there on the day and we were just like, yeah, we're just going to keep backing ourselves. We're just going to keep going. And we went 6 for 6, which was really incredible. So
really incredible play.
2 very successful teams.
And this is the first time you're playing them outdoors this year, which is a big deal. That first match, obviously, in a win for York. I mean, you technically are higher. I mean, Lancaster being Div 3.
Yeah.
Here we go. Chloe Benelocki on the close side to us, the right side.
Good cut by Sasha, clearing out now. Eamon's come back in.
Eamon, searching for someone potentially.
He's definitely looking for that
In the
long
middle.
throw.
Ollie Newton making a lovely break.
Oh, good flow by York to work it down. That is the power of the downwind point, and that's the power of good flow.
An amazing
There's
celebration.
an interesting
there.
celebration out there.
I believe that's fish related.
Yeah, it did look fish. Okay.
Oh, they're doing
We're
it
going
again, just in case we didn't see it. Did we get that on camera, team? Did we get that on camera? Little wave to the camera. I'm sure our audience at home enjoyed that. But I believe that makes it 6-1 to York. Quite a convincing lead so far, Thomas, early on in this game.
Yep, Lancaster will definitely be hoping that they can sort of start the trading game at least and convert this downwind point again. The wind has picked up a little bit and we've got some sun, which is quite nice. Hopefully the disc has dried off and there will be fewer unfortunate drops.
And hopefully see some more of the audience come outside and show up.
Yep, I think now that it's not 9:30 anymore, people are definitely more happy to come down and watch. We've got quite a few people in the dugout. I guess I'd call that a dugout.
Spectator stand.
Spectator stand, yeah, that's probably the right word for it. Pre-team tactics going on at the minute. York are probably deciding whether to do match defense, where they go man for man and women for women, or a zone. If I had to call it, I'd probably say they're doing match. Zone tends to work when Lancaster are playing upwind because the long shots are harder to pull off.
And shout out to the other live streams going on today inside the York Sport Arena. We have volleyball, we also had badminton earlier on today, and you can tune into all the other stuff happening right here on roseslive.co.uk. We also have the dance later, which is a highly competitive, highly competitive fixture between Lancaster and York. Obviously facing each other quite a lot throughout the year, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And obviously we have the finale tonight, the women's rugby, where afterwards we'll be having the trophy lift, where potentially will be red ribbon on that trophy once again for the 4th year in a row, which from a York perspective is a bit of a shame. Here we go. On the right-hand side, deep throw into the end zone.
Caught by Daisy by the looks of it. Not quite in yet.
And Daisy finishes the job to Chloe Benelocki. Can we see another celebration here?
No, looks like it.
Have they planned this?
We
not very well if they did. Seemed like it kind of.
I think it got abandoned actually.
Half-assed.
Got abandoned.
Oh, that's a shame.
There was a very, very small amount of celebration practice and training, but clearly not enough. We're going to have to go back and rehash that.
Would that be I mean, I know it's roses, but would it something like that come up in a spirit conversation, Thomas?
Potentially, I think obviously this is Rose's, emotions are running very high. As long as you're not trying to be malicious, I think it's okay. It is okay to celebrate scores. I think they are very big here, especially.
I guess this is a bit of also kind of out of wider competition, you know?
Yes, yeah.
It's more of a in the grand terms of Frisbee, or it's more of an exhibition kind of legacy match, I guess.
Yes, yeah. It's a grudge match. I think it's not really. Obviously, there's no no malicious feelings between the York and Lancaster players, but as a university you are representing and you really want to bring it home. So I think there's definitely those feelings in there. And like you said, this isn't a normal match in terms of spirit circles. So celebrations that might not normally get used are going to get used here today.
And for people just tuning in who have never watched Ultimate Frisbee in their life, what is a spirit circle, Thomas?
A spirit circle happens at the end of the game. Obviously, the matches are self-refereed, so at the end of the game, the players all come together to give feedback on how they thought the calls were handled, how they thought the knowledge of the rules went over, and just to ensure that if there was any feedback, positive or negative, that it's heard by both the players so they can officiate their games better in the future.
Wonderful. Here we go. Lancaster in possession now, working down this left-hand side. 38, search for someone. 7-1 currently to York.
Disc has gone up. It's been contested by 46 and Eamon. Eamon has managed to come out with that.
Great D by Eamon right there. He takes it to the end zone line. To Ollie Hart on this left-hand side. Throw down the line to Daisy. Daisy with the disc now. Looking for Sparks in the middle. Rebecca Sparks. Potentially looking for Eamon.
Caught by Daisy.
Using that stall count. Here we go. Daisy in the centre. Not being able to find.
No call by Sasha.
Here we go. Lancaster back on the disc. They have to do something here now. 7-1. It's a very convincing scoreline. The wind's less brutal now, so maybe could open up an opportunity for Lancaster. They just need to string some passes together, and that's not what you want to see. A drop near the end zone. Ollie Hart eager to get it started again.
He's looking for it.
Looking for the hammer. Being dropped.
Another unfortunate drop.
Maybe
this might still be wet after the rain.
Maybe a bit too quick there. Maybe a bit of
nice inside shot.
A bit of overdoing, and another drop by Lancaster. Seems to be drop after drop after drop. And possession switches once again in York's favour, just outside the end zone, looking potentially to get another point and extend their advantage to 7.
To 7. Yeah, the scoreboard is covered by our eyes. And it's picking up the disc, resetting to Sparks.
And once again, disc switches again to Lancaster.
Might be some tired legs out there. This point's getting quite long.
Yeah. It's especially grueling on an outdoor point because it's a lot more pitch to run compared to indoors, which you saw on Friday. Here we go, number 7 on the disc, playing earlier in the open match. 99, just outside his end zone. A lot of pressure. Managed to get the pass off.
To work through the zone. They'll be looking to continue the momentum and get lots of quick passes once you've broken through that initial zone there.
Here we go. Passing it through. Lancaster stringing together a few nice passes, keeping it safe. This is what Ben and Anya would want their team to do: is just get a few passes down on the pitch. Oh, unfortunate not to get the recovery there.
Foul called there.
Maybe not the best throw to give your players. It seems could have been a lot simpler than that, but as it goes,
there was a foul called on the catch, and I think it's been uncontested by York, so Lancaster will retain possession of the disc.
Maybe a bit fortunate there, maybe a bit harsh from York. I don't think they were getting that. So
hammer thrown over, good swing.
Here we go, Lancaster.
Good flow
playing
by
down
Lancaster.
the field, really good catch there, just outside
Great
the end
layout.
zone. Here we go, taking their time to reset. Disc back in play.
It's gone up.
Bit quick there, potentially.
Yep, so that'll be a York turn. Very unfortunate after Lancaster had some great progress up the field. They did a really good job of breaking through the zone and working up. So that'll be heartbreaking for them to not convert that.
Here we go, York working up the pitch. In the centre now.
Good fakes by Anna. Back to Eamon.
Eamon on this right-hand side.
Eamon's
Bring it down,
thrown it.
try to find.
Might be a little bit too much from Eamon there.
Couldn't quite find it. Ollie Hart in that end zone there. Here we go. I believe that's Alexander from the Lancaster team, taking it slow. Trailing by six points now. This point going on for a long amount of time, Thomas.
Yeah, the lactic acid will definitely be getting to them now. This is a long point. This is going to be very big, and that might be why you're seeing the increased turnovers there. But Lancaster are back working the disc up the pitch now.
We have a risky hammer over to this far side. Obviously, don't want to concede to Callahan, kind of working out of their own point. If you're unaware what Callahan is, that's where the opposition will throw it in their own half, and if you catch it, it's a point to you. Here we go. Really nice few passes there from Lancaster. That's exactly what they'd want. It's what they've been trying to do this whole point. Unfortunately, not just quite getting
Big
that
hammer
final
coming
pass.
out. Oh, great grab.
Another hammer.
Oh,
Really good
unfortunate
defensive
there.
work by Eamon, working up the pitch. Lovely few passes, and again dropped by York. What can Lancaster do now from this middle of the pitch? Big hammer deep, maybe a bit rushed. God, another big bid from Lancaster. Unfortunately, this time not coming off successful.
Yeah, I think they're definitely trying to get the point done now. Both
get the
York and
job
Lancaster
done.
are feeling that.
What can York do now? Can they put an end to this century-long point? Here we go. Ollie Hart on this far side. Pensy looking for something a bit loose and wild. Pass it back. Here we go. Move that Sparks in the middle.
Good out to Sasha.
Sasha now over to Eamon. Eamon working up the pitch. Looking for end zone option.
Great around throw. Was a good option, and all the players on the field will be feeling this now.
Sideline trying to do their best to amp up the players. Can they get the vibes going to try and get them back in this game? And get both teams through this grueling point. God, they must be absolutely shattered. Frisbee's quite a unique sport where sometimes you can go for a whole point with not even touching the disc. It sometimes just feels like you're aimlessly running around, but you're always doing a part. And that's a big drop from Lancaster there. Can York capitalise on this to try and go fast? Here we go. York goes safe, passing it back. What can I do here now with Eamon? Eamon over to his far side. Back to Eamon. Eamon fumbles, catches it in the end zone.
Just grab it in the end zone. Yeah, that'll be big. I think both teams will be happy to have that point over. The tired legs will come off and they'll get some fresh ones on.
And that becomes 8-1 to York. Big score difference here. 7 points difference. I mean, Eamon, interesting there. Fumbles it and then catches it in the end zone. What's the rules behind that, Thomas?
You're not allowed to intentionally mack it. That's called macking it, which is hitting the disc up into the air so you can grab it later. But because that was very clearly unintentional and he was just trying to get the second grab on it, that is okay.
Now, would that be something that potentially the other team could bring up and contest? Or do you think, I mean, obviously uncontested in this match, but if, say, for instance, this was a bit more competitive, this is the final, and it's all tied, do you think that would have been a bit more of a call?
I think he'd probably get away with that because of just the way it was done, and it was only a one-time thing. You know, it was very clearly an initial attempt at a catch and then another attempt. There was no sort of, he wasn't looking to gain any yards there.
Knowing the player personally, I know that he probably wouldn't do that on purpose, and if he did, he'd probably own up to it. So in this case scenario, I can't imagine that being a problem. As both teams
I think there's been a timeout called there.
Yeah, 8-1, and that's the game so far at the York Sport Arena. Pretty dominant performance from York so far. What's your takeaways from this, Thomas?
Yeah, I think York have done a really good job of using the momentum from the open game and bringing that energy into the mixed one. They've had lots of break points. Both teams have had a few unfortunate turnovers, but I think York are just making the most of the turns and converting more often. It's just been a game of accuracy at the end of the day.
Wonderful. And you can catch all the other sports going on today. We have a lot going on. What are you looking forward to, Thomas, for the rest of Roses Live?
I really want to hear how the volleyball's going on, actually. I know the twos are playing. I know some people down there, so I'd be interested to see how that's going on.
Well, we can definitely hear it from out here, and I believe you can actually tune into that live. On roseslive.co.uk, where we have all your coverage, all your fixture, everything you need to know.
Both the teams just having a timeout after that really long point to sort of rest, recover, and go over their tactics again.
Now the points tally hasn't changed as thus far. It's currently 131 points to York overall to 164 for Lancaster. Lancaster require 172.5 to win, so it's very likely within the next hour, 2 hours that potentially the winner of Roses 2025 is announced. York doing well though.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a good job to fight them off. I think York should be really proud of themselves. We've definitely done a lot better than last year. I'm pretty sure this time last year, Roses was already decided, so York should be really proud of themselves. They've had some really good fixtures across the weekend. And shout out to Lancaster as well. they've also performed very well, and the points show that.
Now make sure you tune into our Roses Live studio, who will be updating you on all the scores. But if you're only on this, at the moment, we had a few fixture results come out in the recent few moments. We had Corfball with a dominant win from Lancaster, 44-1. But that was only an exhibition fixture, so that didn't count to the points tally. Same goes for Quiz Bowl, which actually was a York win, but also exhibition fixture. Snooker also kicked off. Well, how'd you say it? If it was snooker, do they
Queued off maybe?
Queued off. I like that. I like that. Queued off. That's good. It's very cold outside. Motorsport as well. That finished. Also exhibition fixture. Final day of Roses now. Still, I mean, stranger things has happened. Let's see what York do with this match here. Izzy on the left-hand side, playing it back to Chloe, to Sparks. FMP is playing it between themselves. Izzy on this lower left-hand side, to Chloe Benlockie. Back over to Sparks in the middle. Chloe Benlockie looking for potentially Ollie Newton on that far side. What a pass to get off. And Ollie playing it down this right-hand side to Eamon. Eamon looks to catch it. Big D from Lancaster.
Big D from Lancaster, yeah. That was a little bit of a floaty disc from Ollie Newton, but
big fish chant there. They got them hyped. Currently sitting at 8-1. 8-1 to York. Pretty dominant display.
I think this is an important point for Lancaster. They really want to convert this downwind point. They've managed to get a turnover, and if they can convert the break here, I think that'll be big for them. Big for their morale and their momentum.
Loss. Ooh.
Close to the floor.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be a turnover for York now. York regain position. Working against the wind. Chloe Benlockie to pick up. To Izzy. Number 16. Little 1-2 plays there. Really good give and go action.
Yeah, Izzy will be looking to reset now. She's managed to find Raf. Good throw.
Raf in the middle. Over to Ollie Newton, number 8. Lovely little give go from Chloe Benlockie and Ollie Newton. Again, had the pleasure to play both of them at Yindoors earlier this year. Also streamed on YSTV. Rory looking for it in the end zone potentially. Ollie, I think Ollie could make this throw.
Looking for it. Good fake.
Faked it. Grabbed, I believe, by Anya Johnson. Big fish chance from the away end.
Yeah, Lancaster will be looking to utilise the wind and work the pitch. Oh, the huck has gone up.
Can Anya get this? Not quite, unfortunately. And it drops in the end zone for a York possession. Really good run there by Anya Johnson, number 16.
And that is still big for Lancaster, even though that was a turnover. They've forced York to now have to work it back up the pitch. And it is tricky to do that. York have been doing a good job with their give goes, but it means the legs of York are going to be tested again, and Lancaster will have another opportunity to turn.
Great to see your captain making a big run forward as well. It must be nice to see of the Lancaster side.
Disc has gone up.
Rory unfortunately not being able to get to it. Ollie stopping the roll. But possession switches back over to Lancaster. What can they do for this this advantage in terms of a
Disc has
possession?
gone up, big around throw. And I think the wind just took that a little bit further than he was expecting.
Yeah, potentially not the correct run there. Maybe cutting a bit sharp. Obviously, always important to keep your eyes on the disc. It's always really hard though when that disc changes just above your head. There's nothing you can really do, is there, Thomas?
Yeah, chasing down a disc is definitely difficult. You'll have the sideline trying to tell you to go left or right, but when that disc is above your head, it's really difficult to try and line up for that. Chloe just taking a minute to tie her laces, and then she's going to bring the disc back in. Again, Lancaster are quite happy to just trap York here in their end zone.
Got a
and
massive,
get another turn.
Massive cup defense waiting for Chloe Benlockie. I'm sure she likes seeing that when she come up. Great cut by Sparks in the middle of all of that.
Gone up.
Raf not being able to get his hand over it.
And Lancaster have managed to get another turn in York's own half, so they'll definitely be looking to convert here.
Benleek walking over to the disc now. Here we go, Lancaster working down this right-hand side. Just outside the end zone, almost a point there for Lancaster. 8-1 it currently stands. This has also been quite a long point, really long points in this match in the last 2 or 3.
Yeah, Lancaster playing chilly here, which is what they need to do. They need to be patient. They don't need to rush this. They've got time, and they really want to score this point, so they don't want to take any. Oh, disc has gone up.
Ben Leake just outside the end zone. Can he find potentially Onion Johnson trying to getting away from the mark?
Good reset.
84 now with the disc, with the hat on. Good grab, number 99. Raf doing pretty imposing high mark, big long
Bailey
line.
just put a shot in. It's caught by number 4, Sam Boswell.
Lovely throw. Did you see that, Thomas?
That was a great throw, great inside throw by Adam. Managed to create the space and find Sam. Lancaster will be very happy that they've managed to secure their offense point.
8-2. Now 2 really long points there. Really interesting results from that last one. Obviously downwind, kind of in their advantage, but a lot of turnovers. But you know, there's still time.
Yeah, there's definitely still time. Lancaster will definitely have a bit more morale after that point. That was a long point, and they'll be very happy to have scored that. They're going to need to put in a big shift and try and get a break here upwind. York will be looking to just convert this as another downwind point. The wind is on their side at the minute, but Lancaster, yeah, they'll definitely be hoping to put a big shift and turn the tides on this one.
No better feeling after getting the point after getting the score after such a long point. I imagine that's, yeah, as you said, heightening the morale. Let us know where you're watching from today. Feel free to follow us online at Roses Live on Instagram and also TikTok. Yeah, join us on the socials. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're supporting. Are you a Red Rose or are you a White Rose? Who do you want to see come out on top of this match? It'd be great to hear from you. And just behind us, we also have the tennis going on. That's just started. I believe you can also catch that live potentially. Again, all live streams are done voluntary today, so if there are problems, please bear with us.
Yeah, huge shout out to York and Lancaster. I think where most of the sports teams are competing, they do a really good job of working together to try and bring you some great coverage of all the sports that are going on this weekend.
I believe 11 concurrent live streams at some point this weekend, which is incredible. For reference, that is more than the Olympics. It's the biggest student broadcast in the world, voluntary.
That is crazy.
That is
absolutely crazy.
That is a fact.
More than the Olympics, and it's all voluntary.
It's all voluntary. At one stage, last Home Roses, we had, at one time, 220 people working.
Wow.
And it's the biggest student broadcast live stream. It was the biggest student varsity in Europe, so massive credit to the events teams as well. But the broadcast
100%.
side is absolutely massive. Here we go, Ollie Newton, passing it around the middle. Lovely, good go. Looking for something, maybe.
Yeah, just looking to work through that zone. York are being very patient, and now they've got the break. They're looking to capitalise on that momentum.
Great grab. Maybe something in the end zone here for York. Ollie Hart. Mountains of space.
Great grab by Anna there.
9-2 to York. Getting another downwind point. Very dominant display here, York. That's definitely probably taken a bit of the zap out of Lancaster's morale. Some very fishy chants going on. Apologies for any crude language that can potentially be heard. We hear a lot of responses from the Yorkshire chants from the Lancaster fans. That's a staple at Roses throughout the years. So
Yeah, I think that home advantage is huge. Whenever you're hosting, I think it's really nice to have the numbers. And I think Lancaster have done a really good job this year at bringing a big away side and bringing a big away support.
I mean, it seems like a lot of them are just waking up from the darts last night, which concluded at 11:41. That's when the scores got tallied in. So
Oh wow.
they're all kind of rolling out of bed, maybe a bit hungover. Nothing wrong with that. Enjoying the sport. As I like to say, the Roses is just the Olympics, but everyone's either hungover or still intoxicated.
Yeah, definitely. And darts is one of those sports that you can really enjoy while you're playing. I think a lot of the players probably play better when they're a bit intoxicated. So
I can't really say the same for most of the other sports.
yeah, I don't think you want to be playing Frisbee
No.
after you've had a night out.
Here we go,
Definitely not fun.
Lancaster with the downwind and also with the
The huck
possession.
has gone straight up.
Lovely catch. I believe.
Great grab. I think there's just a bit of discussion about whether the point was in, and I think it's been called in.
Always a bit of a shame when it's just on the end zone. You never know. You want to celebrate, but you don't want to celebrate too much.
Yeah, there's a lot of delayed celebrations in Frisbee, especially with a huck like that. But it was a great look, and that shows you the power of the wind, how quickly you can score a point.
9-3 now is the scoreline. Lovely deep play. That's how quickly the game can change. You can score within Frisbee within mere moments. I think that was 3 passes before a score.
Yeah, if that. And York and Lancaster have sort of gone back to trading. This is what you sort of expect, that the downwind points are scoring. Hopefully, this will continue. If you're a York fan, if you're a Lancaster fan, you'll be hoping that they can pull together a big defence this point and get a break.
Really strange how the games have changed, because it's kind of the flip side of what happened earlier in the Open match, where it was trading for the first probably about 8 points, and then York managed to get a break win point, and then after that it was kind of clean sailing for York. This time it's the other way around. Maybe that's to the credit of the captains on the Lancaster side, Ben Leake and Anya Johnson, maybe playing around the tactics and having a few words with the players and seeing if they can change things up and maybe shake up this York defence. Here we go, York on the offence now though. Sparks in the centre, looking for a pass. Not being able to find it, really tight defence.
Turning, tight match by Lancaster.
Coat Benelocki now on this, close side to us. Lovely throw across. Can Ollie Hart find it? Not quite. Butterfingers Ollie Hart, unfortunately. For some reason, pointing out the Lancaster player. I think he's just showing him where the disc is. Here we go. Lovely throw
Good
there
grab
by Lancaster. Over to 84. Oh,
the disc has gone up. Looks like it's a little bit too right. Oh!
Very unfortunate not to catch that there. Kind of slipped through the fingers.
Yep, and the disc sort of turned in the air and became a blade, and when they're falling very quickly, it's very hard to grab them. Here we go, York trying to capitalise on Lancaster's slightly slow comeback.
Ollie Newton
defense.
being pivotal in this forward momentum play. Lovely string of passes now from York. Izzy with the disc. Trying to find someone. Little undercut from Ollie. Lovely one by Chloe Benelocki. In the end zone for Sparks. Making it 10-3 to York. Lovely little point there, Thomas.
Yeah, that was great movement by York. I think they transitioned really well into offence, and once they started, they never stopped and managed to take it all the way down the line. Lancaster did have a turn there, so they'll be happy with their D-line. And as they transition to offence, they'll be hoping to just get another quick score on the board and have another opportunity to break.
Lovely stuff. Now York not too eager, just strolling over to the pitch.
Yep, they'll be happy to take their time, and Lancaster do have to walk all the way to the other side of the field now that they've conceded. So
some people call it the walk of shame.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a walk of shame, especially on those long points when you've been battling really hard, and then you get scored on. That walk definitely feels quite long.
An old York captain used to say to me, it's the punishment of losing the point is the walkover.
Yep, that's definitely a fair quote, fair saying. It's a nice little treat if you score, to just have to sit there and wait for them to get ready. So.
Now we saw a lot of team talks in the Open match from Lancaster. Seems like they're not having in this mixed game. Maybe that kind of quickness is working in York's favour.
Yeah, I think Lancaster are happy right now to just trade right now, which means the game plan doesn't change too much. They're trying to take advantage of their downwind points. Yeah,
10-3, pretty convincing from York. Lancaster with a deep throw into the end zone. Big
Swatted
deep
out by
from
Raphael. Might have been a foul on the throw, but it hasn't been called.
Really interesting D there from Raph, because he's opted for kind of smacking it towards his own end zone, which is very unusual. But I guess in this advantage, going through his head is, what way is the wind going? Because you don't want to mack it into the wind, and the wind carries it potentially in the direction of a Lancaster player. I think if you mack it in the direction of the wind, obviously it's still going to go to the front of the end zone when they pick up the point. That type of stuff, I think, is just kind of built into him as a player. Maybe it's something he doesn't really overthink. Yeah,
and I think your analysis was spot on there, Max. You don't want to mack it back into the wind because it's going to sort of bubble up and float, and there's always a risk of, close hands there by Ollie.
Lovely throw along the floor, lays it across. Lovely string of passes and catches from York here, especially against the wind. Ollie Newton in the middle. Eamon, lovely cut there. Catching on this far right side. Into the end zone, no one's home.
Last throw wasn't quite on, but that shows you the power of York and how well they've been working through both the upwind and Lancaster's defence. Lancaster will be looking to gain yards and hopefully a quick score here.
When speaking to Ben Leake earlier, he was telling me about his defence and how much Lancaster's been working on it. This is a very new side, very different to their side last year at Last Roses, and even crazier than 2 years prior when they were last at York. Only 2 players who are currently playing in the team played in the last Roses York fixture. So it's completely, basically, fresh-faced team. A lot of people left, a lot of new faces. So maybe this has led to this big outdoors, big outdoors lead from York currently. 10-3 it currently stands.
Yeah, I think it always takes a bit of time to transition to a new team, sort of get that chemistry going. And York have quite a few players graduating this year, so I think next year they will also have a big transition, and we might see that next year. That was a close huck and just not caught by Anna, so that'll be a Lancaster turnover. But they are all the way back. My apologies, it was a York turnover. So York will be looking to work it up the field again.
York in possession now. On the end of their end zone, bit of a danger zone. Lovely cut by Eamon.
Undercut by Eamon.
Ben Leek, his person marking him, not really anywhere to be seen. Big fish chance on the side. What can Lancaster do now? Ben Leek with the disc. Pivotal in these Lancaster plays. Lovely in the middle to their number 7. Maybe looking for the over.
Disc has gone up.
Deep. Anya not quite there, unfortunately.
Yeah,
quite a hard throw to catch.
Yeah, and the wind does just take the disc further. So you've got to be really careful when hucking it, because it can just get blown away from you so quickly.
Here we go. Ollie Newton strolling over to the end zone. After this, a lot more fixtures coming here from University of York West Campus for the last day of Roses, final day of Roses, where someone is going to be winning that lovely trophy.
Yeah, big force by Lancaster there to get a quick turnover close to York's end zone.
Number 19, keen to get it going, Anya Johnson.
Good grab.
Lancaster corner for end zone. Can they do something here? Very loaded. 4 players in their end zone out of the 7. No one's really moving, unfortunately. I think a bit of frustration maybe from Lancaster's side. Don't want to overanalyze, but yeah, it seems something's maybe not working on the offense for Lancaster.
And has gone for a quick start.
Big drop there from York.
Throw there. Lancaster have got another opportunity to convert here.
It's a really, really good chance for Lancaster to get one up here, making it 10-4. Ben Leek in possession of the disc now. Faking right.
Big around shot has gone up.
Wrapping throw.
Oh, so close by Ed Chen.
So close. Such a shame.
It was a great look by Ben, and it was a great cut by Ed.
I think number 19 just got some fingertips on it, but much like Aber, slipping through his fingers. And York reset to their vert stack.
Yeah, great cut by Izzy and great throw by Ollie.
Lovely catch. York maybe a bit late to transitioning to where Izzy was. I think especially a student level Frisbee, there's a lot of watching the disc sometimes, and maybe that's what happens. That's the level of the game.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more turnovers here. It's a lot, I'd argue, a bit more exciting actually, because those turnovers do mean that the results of the match can be a lot more unpredictable.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is why we're here. This is why we love Roses. This is why we love watching student sport. Big throw deep by Ollie Newton. Is aiming there.
There might be seconds on that. Nope, swatted away.
Even though the scoreline's not going their way, Lancaster's still loud and proud.
Yep, and that sideline is, you can't underestimate how important that sideline is. It's really important to hear that chant, no matter what the score is, and it'll be keeping the Lancaster players motivated.
Here we go. Ben Leek on the disc. On the deep right side. Gets it over. Now what can they do from here? This is where Lancaster, I think, have struggled, is working up the pitch neutrally, keeping the disc, keeping possession. This is what their captains would have wanted. It's what's kind of needed from this match as well.
Oh, there's been a call.
I think maybe a pick.
I think that would have been a pick. You're right, Max.
No, explain a pick call for our audience.
A pick call is basically when the defender has to run through somebody to get to catch up with their attacker. Obviously, Frisbee is a non-contact sport, so you don't want to run through them. So a pick is called and the play goes back.
Ben Leak in the end zone.
Oh,
And
so close.
Not quite catching. Really good cut. Raf kind of just trailing behind, maybe not fast enough. Not expecting that deep cut. But it was a good throw. Maybe if he did caught it, it would be just outside. But still would have been a really good position for Lancaster. Unfortunately, the catch didn't come off. And it resets to York possession.
York possession in their end zone. Lancaster will be hoping for a quick turn here. And York will be trying to work it through with their vert stack.
Here we go. York in possession. Now this is a bit of an unusual ground for York to play on. Usually playing on 22 acres, which is where the rugby and the lacrosse is being played today. So get him play on this nice sand turfed pitch. Must be nice. Oh, Ollie Newton with quite an unfortunate fumble, quite an unfortunate drop, maybe due to cold hands.
Yeah, I think the players will definitely be feeling cold hands today. It's very windy and that wind makes it feel a whole lot colder than it is.
Also, apologies for maybe some bad language that was picked up from the sideline over there.
Disc has gone up.
And that's a point to Lancaster, number 7, scoring with a lovely little turnover play. Unfortunately,
Charlie Brayshaw, great catch.
Unfortunately, coming from that fumble by York's number 8 and captain of the Open and joint captain of the mixed, Ollie Newton. He's going to be, kicking himself over that. It's very unlike him, out of character.
He'll be kicking himself, but also that was the D point for York, so they won't be too unhappy. Because now they get their downwind point, they get their offense point, and essentially that was just another trade for them. That's probably how he'll be looking at it.
Another long point, but that is 10-4 to York still with a 6-point advantage, still very convincing, but you know, Lancaster doing a lot better. I mean, coming from 8-1, all the way back to now, squeezing that difference. What can they do from here now? Will they get the momentum to go forward? I guess only time will tell. Here on roseslive.co.uk. Feel free to tune in from wherever you are. Let us know where you're watching from. And we're going to be providing you coverage all day here from the University of York West Campus. Here we go. York in possession. Chloe Benelockie over to Ollie Newton. Ollie Newton on this far right side. What can he do with the discs now? Looking to play potentially in the middle to Raf. Raf again, kind of taking Ollie's space. Only a few yards gained. Lovely throw in the end zone. Chloe Benelockie, unfortunate not to get something on that. Maybe it was a bit too fast a throw, but I think the wind kind of carried it. The wind direction's kind of changed a bit. It's coming more towards us now rather than side, so a bit more of a diagonal wind, which obviously is going to affect the game. Usually we have got a wind flag on this pitch to see where it's flowing, but unfortunately that's not here today. So
yeah, when you get those sort of diagonal winds, sometimes it changes the way you force.
Let's do a grass test live on.
Should we do a grass test? Yep.
Yeah, seems to be
we're
a
getting
bit more diagonal now, which obviously is going to affect the game. Not necessarily linear.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll try and make the opponents throw right in the opposite direction of that wind, which can be really challenging. And sometimes you'll do the opposite, you'll make them throw into that because the disc can get carried away so easily. Unfortunate turn there.
No, we're just very lucky this isn't a side wind match, which unfortunately makes for a very more difficult match for both sides.
Big defense by Raphael there, looking for a quick transition.
Ollie Newton on the disc now, just outside the end zone. Can he do something with this now? Lovely throw over.
Wind's definitely picked up a bit now.
No one's home. Lancaster making it known that was unfortunately embarrassing for Ollie Newton. I thought it was maybe just a bit unlucky with the wind.
I think so too, and Ollie is such a great athlete. He's competed so many times. I'm sure that's not in his head at all. He's just focused on the play. Yeah,
Lancaster trying to use their 8th player, the sideline. Turnover from York there. It seemed like a rogue catch. Chloe Benelockie potentially looking for something in the end zone. No one's there. Raf. Where's his disc? Oh, back to Chloe Benelockie. There we go.
Good patience from York. Big around shot's gone up.
Hart not being able to get onto it. Now this is a battle here. Number 84 and Ollie Hart. Oh, thought that was an ignored high five for a second there.
You wouldn't want an ignored high five. They high fived and it's all good.
Yeah, this seems to be a very contested battle between number 17 Ollie Hart of York and number 84 for Lancaster. It is interesting when you do have these kind of match defense a lot in these mixed fixtures, and you get these really fierce competitions, especially because the games are a bit longer.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure Ollie Hart is definitely going to get a bit sick of that, especially with the height advantage as well on the Lancaster side.
Yeah, Lancaster do bring a generally taller team. I don't know what they put in the water over there. But good grab by Daisy for the turnover.
Lovely cut by Ollie Hart. Nice and easy throw over to Ollie Newton. Little Ollie link-up play. Ollie Newton on this right-hand side, close to the cameras, into the middle.
Great throw to Matt.
Matt now with the disc. What can he do with it? Is he looking for something in the end zone?
For options. Nothing's on there. Reset.
Chloe in the middle. Lovely little play. The captains linking up for York. Both of them playing so well together. Obviously, I think that probably comes from a lot of time. And Ollie Newton, that's in.
That's in. That is in. I thought it was out as well. I think they've got two white lines there.
The issue is with how the pitch linings are done, we have a football pitch on top of a Frisbee pitch. So there is two white lines, one of which being the end zone and one of the cones is down. So apologies if that doesn't come through on the stream very well, but that was in. These lines are very close together, so it was in between them, Ollie. So he wasn't too sure, but that makes it 11-4 in advantage of York, extending their lead once again. 7 points now. Is there any chance for Lancaster to come back?
I think it would have to be a monumental effort from Lancaster at the minute. We've got 10 minutes until soft cap, and sort of 7 points in that time might be a little bit.
And do you want to explain soft caps to the people who might not know?
So Frisbee's played, it is 70 minutes, and after that 70 minutes you take the team with the highest score, you add 1 to that, and then it's the first team to 1 plus that score, which leaves room for some incredible comebacks. But yeah, the way York have been playing, and with the flow of play at the minute, York and Lancaster are currently trading. I think York will be quite happy to just carry on with this, and unless Lancaster put in a really big effort to get a break, this is probably how the game's going to go for the rest of the
And if we do get soft cap, a bit of miscommunication there, possibly on Lancaster. Someone's trying to put it down on the ground and another player kicking it. But after that 10-minute soft cap, you can always tune into some of our other streams. We also have badminton open second and women's second. We also have badminton open first and women's first, alongside with volleyball and dance. But unfortunately, this is all the end, this final fixture, shall I say, of Ultimate Frisbee. Open, mixed, indoor and outdoor. So it's a shame we don't have a more highly contested match, as these teams do love a rivalry. But I'm sure this won't be the last time they face each other this year, especially with Fishbowl coming up. Here we go. York back on the offense. Can they make it 12? Over to Ollie Newton. Some wide space there.
Oh, there might be a second on that. Oh, it's very unfortunate for Sasha.
Very unfortunate for Sasha. Maybe if there was a bit more stakes in it, would Sasha go for the bid there? Would go for the layout?
Yes, yeah, I think you definitely could have seen a layout if it was 8-all or something.
Here we go. Lancaster back in possession. Can they get it out of their own half? Play it up the pitch. I think what Anya and Ben would.
Ben's just put a big shot into Anya.
Yeah, both captains trying to do a bit of link-up play there.
It was a great
and you're getting a bit unfortunate throughout this fixture with the deep throws. Nothing really kind of landing in her way. I think that's mainly down to maybe the wind or maybe some of the obscure throws being done, but maybe just a lack of playing with each other. But you know, they've done very well in Bucks this year. Lancaster, as I said, winning all their fixtures but the final. Very convincing win as well in a very competitive division, which is, you know, the one below York. Actually, no, I believe it's Nats. They're the one below York. Yes. Apologies for that. Here we go. Ben Leake over to number 46.
Number 6, Jack. Point blocked by Ollie.
Maybe a bit quick there.
Yeah, definitely looking to get a quick score in.
Maybe didn't see Ollie body blocking that. That must have hurt. But he's a big, strong boy. I'm sure he'll walk it off.
I'm sure he'll be all right. Yeah, I think the hucks downwind have just been carried a little bit further than expected, possibly for Lancaster, because I think a lot of the shots have been on. The cut has been good and the throw has been good, but it's just been that little bit too far for them.
Now York playing this vert stack kind of on the far side. We used to call this almost the Bob Ross when I was playing, because it's like you're painting across the pitch. That's how they used to say it. So like long strokes down the pitch. Nicely that kind of been passed down. Obviously I'm not sure if that's intended on previous York experience, but that's what we used to say with the Bob Ross.
No, I like that. I haven't heard that. I have to explore that a little bit more. Jack Little on the disc right now. Good around throw. That's caught by number 4 Sam, I believe.
Just outside the end zone. Can they find a point here to get one back?
Well, that disc has gone up a little bit. They'll be competed there.
Here we go. Izzy with a good D. Possession switches back over to York. These points are getting longer and longer.
Definitely fatigue setting in, causing a few more errors to be made, which means it's a longer point at the end of the day.
Izzy with a lovely cut down. She's been fundamental to this York win. So have all the players, especially this man, Ollie Newton, as well as his co-captain, Chloe Benelocki. When asking Chloe, unfortunately drop there for Izzy and possession switch back over to Lancaster. When I was speaking to Chloe earlier, she said to me on air that I asked, what do you want to take into this next fixture, this fixture we're watching right now? And she said, lad energy. I don't necessarily know what that means or what that entails, or but I'm sure whatever type of lad energy they're adding, I guess that's working in their advantage if they've been doing that.
Yeah, I think you might have to interview again and ask her what lad energy means and how they brought it to this game. But clearly, whatever they brought has worked.
Maybe she just didn't want to reveal their secrets.
Maybe.
Here we go. Lancaster, Ben Leake, co-captain on the disc.
Big disc up. Oh.
Unfortunately, landing just to the feet.
Sounded like a shin there. That's very painful when it hits the shins.
Yeah, very, very painful. Don't really want that Sunday morning.
No.
Shin splints. I think the headlining Reading and Leeds this year, Sunday morning shin splints.
I like that.
Here we go. Possession switching again. Back over to Lancaster. It's a really, really good position. Oh, no one's there. Unfortunately, just lands kind of in between the two players. Ollie Newton pick up the disc fast. Can he find someone in the end zone? Is he kind of making that run? She loves those.
That was a good force. That was a good force there to deny Ollie the look, because he definitely would have taken it.
This link-up play between Sasha and Chloe Benelocki and Izzy is fascinating to watch them play. Just really smooth, really slick. And that give-go action is just so fast, Thomas. Is that something you work on in training?
Yeah, I think we definitely try and work on that. Chloe, Izzy and Sasha are really, really strong at that. You know, they can get almost halfway up the pitch if you're not paying attention just from those little give-go throws.
And that must come from a lot of playing with each other as well.
100%.
Big throw into the end zone potentially, but it just curves out the way. Again, probably wind's fault.
Probably the wind's fault. I think fatigue is definitely playing an effect here. There's a lot more turns in the second half of the match than there has been the first. That's resulting in a lot more turnovers and these longer points. Lancaster, with the disc in their end zone, they'll probably be looking to get some quick yards and hopefully a good huck and a convert off of that. This is still Lancaster's offense point, so York will be quite happy that their defense point has made this so long and so difficult for them.
And that's 11-5. No, 11-4, apologies. Still.
Yes, 11-4, I believe.
11-4. 11-4 still to York. Really dominant position here. And we're here live on University of York Campus West for Roses 2025. You can find us at roseslive.co.uk. And if you're not watching Ultimate Frisbee and you want to tune out, there's plenty of other options. We also have radio broadcasts happening throughout the day. And it all leads up to the closing ceremony tonight, Sunday, later on today.
That's women's rugby, isn't it, Max?
Women's rugby. And the closing ceremony where the winners of Roses 2025 will be crowned. It's always a big occasion. Usually a lot of flares.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Red flares. Do we have white flares? Is that a thing?
Well, unfortunately, the only, in my experience of Roses, the only win I've personally witnessed was my first year at university, Roses Unlocked, which was an online Roses. Apologies to break you there, Thomas. It looks like it could potentially be a point for York in the end zone, and it is converted, I believe, by...
I think that was Izzy. I think she was either involved in the assist or the catch there. York will be really happy to have broken Lancaster on their defense point. That's going to be a big morale boost for York and possibly the end of the game.
12-4 to York.
We are about 2 minutes away from the soft cap, so The teams will likely play this point, and then it will be 1+ whatever York's score is at the minute. So we will either be playing to 13 or 14, depending on who scores from this.
And it's nice to see the Lancaster team still in high spirits.
Yeah, they're taking that walk, that punishment walk down for conceding the point that we were talking about earlier. It is a very long walk down the pitch.
A lot of "we hate Yorkshire" chants from the Lancaster side. Maybe a bit salty from the result not going their way, but nothing wrong with a bit of healthy competition. But yeah, no. So the only win was during lockdown, unfortunately, where I was there when York were announced, but announced victorious, that is. But no, unfortunately, no big celebrations. Probably about 15 people in a tent. That was about it. So it's a shame as a York alumni not being able to see that, but hopefully in the future to come. Maybe not this year with how the results are going. Obviously this could be announced any moment live on air. I'm sure that will happen over on our mainstream. So feel free to just stick that on your telly all day and tune in and out. You'll probably witness when that happens live. I'm sure it'll be a big occasion.
Injury call here. I'm not sure what the initial call was, but I think it was an injury call. The vice captain Evans just gone off, and unfortunately Lancaster have thrown a turnover.
Here we go, York to pick up. Back to Raff. Raff in the middle, just outside the end zone, looking for someone. Finding Sparks. Sparks now looking to score another point to give York an even further advantage. What can she do here? Back to Chloe Benlockie, co-captain, trying to find potentially back to Raff. Raff needs to kind of get out there. Ends up finding the disc anyway. The mark isn't that tight. Raff now, maybe looking for something over the top. Into the end zone.
Looking for Anna.
Anna
Grab by
catches
Anna.
it. Getting away from her mark. Absolutely wonderful point there from York. Is that within the soft cap?
Yep, it is 12:25 as we speak now, so I believe with the score at 13-4, we will be playing to 14.
Playing to 14, and after that you can catch our very own Edwin Barnes in the York Sport Arena for badminton, where he'll be introducing you to our next fixture after this. Now, one more point and York come home with it. Could potentially be a massive comeback for Lancaster. Very unlikely though. That was a fantastic point there for York.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of, again, using the momentum from that break and converting their downwind point. Lancaster, yeah, York, Frisbee in general leaves obviously that open door for the comeback. But with Lancaster to score 10 points in a row, especially with the strength of the York side, is looking a little bit unlikely, in my professional opinion. Yeah, York are in very high spirits on this line. Lancaster are just ready to receive the pull.
There we go, some Let's Go Yorks. It's important that York get the energy up. Obviously winning this is a big deal, and hopefully we get to speak to some of them after the match. That'll be good to hear their opinion on the match. Obviously a very, very complicated one from Lancaster's perspective. Very hard to keep going, especially with the scoreline, but I'm sure
good flow down the field.
They're just enjoying the experience of being here. They won the indoor fixture, so at least they're going home with a win.
Number 99 twisting and turning.
Lovely through into the end zone. It's caught.
Oh, just over Raff's head there. He got up very high.
There
but
we
I
go.
think the wind might have carried it just a little bit further than he was expecting.
13-5, I believe.
13-5, I believe, yeah. Lancaster doing a good job to convert. York will definitely be putting out a strong line for their downwind point, hoping to see out the game now.
There we go, Lancaster making sure to celebrate any opportunity they can. Really good to see.
What do you think of the Max? What do you think of the match, Max?
What do I think of the Max?
What do you think of the Max?
I think Max has done very well today.
I think Max has done very well today too.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you, Thomas. Very, very nice of you. No, I think the match has been very, very good today. I think this is, you know, as a neutral as well. I think we've seen some really good plays, but also from a York alumni, a York perspective, I think this has been a good day. Obviously, I'd love to see if this match was a bit more competitive at the beginning, as it was in the Open. But beggars can't be choosers. It's roses. This is how it is. You never know what's going to happen. And I think Yeah, it's just brilliant to see some good Frisbee been playing. I think it's just in some amazing points. I'd love to see this point cap be a massive layout. Obviously, we have great conditions for some sliding.
We do, now the rain's come in.
Now the rain's coming, kind of spraying in our faces. We're going to have a very wet interview potentially, so stay tuned for that after the match. I'm sure our players are going to love to stay outside for that.
Big pool's gone up, that looks like it's going to roll, and it rolls just out, just in York's half.
Now can York finish the job here on the downwind? Ollie Newton with the disc. He's going to do something a bit flary.
He's looking for that huck.
Unfortunately caught by the Lancaster player. As I said, Ollie Newton looking for something special to end this fixture.
Oh, that's gone high. Good grab by Jack to keep it going.
Now, got to be careful for not to score a Callahan here. I'm sure that's going to be on Raf's mind. Finding their number 99 again, still in the end zone. Managed to work their way out. Ollie Hart potentially not being tight enough there. Could have finished off the game, but obviously don't want to overextend yourself. Raf still marking vice captain of the open. Deep throw, and it's going to roll. Can York stop that? Oh, there we go.
Good yards for Lancaster. They'll be happy just to get a minute to breathe, but York are going to be coming back at them very quickly.
What are you most looking forward to for today? What have you got planned today, Thomas, after this?
I really want to go see the rugby. I think that closing ceremony is going to be really big. And then I'm just going to wander around. I think the tennis will be worth looking at. And I'm definitely going to tune into the badminton as well.
Absolutely amazing stuff. And you can catch that all live here on roseslive.co.uk. If you haven't heard me say it the 5 times before this. But it's really such a pleasure to be here on a lovely, cloudy Sunday morning. As York are probably just about to finish this game and see it home. Matt now on the disc.
Matt's taken
Ollie
it.
Hart.
By Ollie Hart, not quite in the end zone
Can
yet.
York do it here to finish off the match?
He's looking for a hammer.
Hammer throw to Ollie.
Layout! Oh my word!
Drops it. Hammer throw into a potential layout which could have ended the match. Ollie, what are you doing?
You've got to go for it. You've got to go for it.
Apologies for that bit of unprofessionalism, criticism of Ollie Newton. I understand it's a very difficult catch to do, but I've seen him catch much harder than that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as a personal opinion.
Maybe it wasn't acrobatic enough.
Maybe
he felt like
he
he wanted an even more dynamic
Maybe he
one.
dropped it on purpose.
Yeah, maybe he did.
Maybe he was waiting for the front flip. Here we go. Lancaster in possession now. Number 7 trying to play up the pitch.
Big around throw.
Oh, unfortunate to drop it there. Ollie Hart just holding his hands up.
I don't know what he was doing there.
Yeah, maybe stopping this.
Trying to stop the roll probably, and then I think it rolled out.
Here we go. Vertstack kind of all in the zone. Every York player wants to score this last point.
Disc.
Ollie Newton looking for the assist. Was that scuba?
He was going for a scuba there.
Little scuba maybe over to Raf just outside the end zone.
If anyone else throws that, they get instantly subbed off. But
yeah.
I think we'll let Ollie have that one.
He's done so much today for this team, as well as in the early match today, this morning. Such a high energy, such a good captain. I think him and Chloe have really, credit where credit's due. They've really led their team out today. Talking of Chloe, she's picking up this now. Could she get the assist to end this mixed fixture? Could it be a captain to captain?
It could definitely be. The captains have been real catalysts in the team. They do a really good job of organising everyone. The disc is up and it's caught by Ollie Newton.
And like predicted, captain to captain link up play there. Chloe Benelocki over to Ollie Newton to finish off the match. It is 14-5 to York, a dominant display by the York team. And I'm sure we're going to get their interviews very shortly. So stay tuned here on Roses Live, where York have just beat Lancaster Fish in their outdoor Ultimate Frisbee Mixed. And we'll have those interviews coming to you live very, very soon.
Handshakes going round now. Every player from York will be handshaking every player from Lancaster. They do a very good organised train of this. And then obviously each team's players get to high-five each other after the game as well.
It's just great to see good sportspersonship. And let's check out the overall Roses score tally. And you can check this out for yourself, roseslive.co.uk. Still sitting at 131 points to York, to 164 Lancaster. A lot of exhibition matches going on today, so exhibition matches don't count to any of the points tallies, but I believe if I'm not wrong, this counts towards 4 points.
Yes, I think York team have done a very good job of holding Lancaster and forcing other teams to bring the win home for them. York Ultimate should be very happy with how they played today.
So after a 13-6 victory for York in the Outdoor Open this morning, York have gone on to win 14-5. So an improvement of their score from earlier. And after this, as we said, you can catch the badminton, you can catch the volleyball. And that's all live on roseslive.co.uk. So make sure you tune in, either online on the radio, or if you're on campus, come see us in person. And if you're on socials, make sure you shout us out, tagging us in any posts that you do, Roses Live, on Instagram and TikTok.
I might go jump in that team photo if you don't mind, mate.
Yeah, go jump in that team photo, Thomas. Make sure you do that. But I hope you're all doing okay today. Lovely summer's day in York. If you are here in person, obviously come say hi. Obviously try not to drink alcohol on air, that's not good. But we're here at the athletics track, where I believe we're going to be having the lacrosse potentially play later. And we're going to be finishing off the whole day over to the right of me on pitch, 22 acres, where rugby's going to be finishing off. And we're just about to get an interview with the York and Lancaster sides to see how they fancied it. My co-commentator Thomas is going to jump in that team photo, understandably, as he was a fundamental part within the team earlier today in the open fixture. Just behind me is the brains of the whole operation. This is the York Sport Pavilion, where we're going to be mixing everything from the match, if you're interested at all. I'm just going to be stalling for time before we get the interviews. Obviously the players going to allow them to celebrate as much as possible, as this is probably one of the biggest fixtures in the York calendar all year, is the mixed outdoors. And just like that, the sun's going to come out, meaning that our camera operator is going to have a hard time balancing for the exposure. I can see him fumbling right now. And we have plenty of more live sport, plenty of live action, such as the dance, which is obviously one of the biggest fixtures happening at Roses Live. And
how's the fill going, Max?
The fill's going really good, thank you so much.
How have you been so far this Roses?
I've really enjoyed it so far. Obviously I arrived this morning at 9:15, thrown straight into the action for the Ultimate Frisbee.
And what's your background in the Ultimate Frisbee here?
So I was actually the social sec in my first and second year of the Ultimate Frisbee here at York. I was the captain of the second team at Nats, or regional, sorry. And I was kind of been around the team. I also produced the live streams for the yearly York Indoor Frisbee tournament. The Indoors, which is the biggest indoor Frisbee live stream ever.
Oh really? Oh wow.
Yeah, it's streamed all on YSTV.
Yeah. And am I right in saying that we wouldn't have Frisbee at Roses without yourself?
Some have said that. I won't probably agree with that, because I think it definitely was here before me. So I think that's a pretty bold statement, but if you want to say that, I'm fine with that.
Hey, well that's the headline we'll go with.
That's the headline we go with. But no, Yindoors, you can catch that every year, streamed this year. It's 2 days of crazy fun, and if you enjoyed indoor Frisbee, make sure you check out your local Frisbee teams at UKU.
And I think you'll be happy to hear that you're not interviewing me. I think we've got some of our players.
Wonderful. Do you want to join me over here?
Yeah, hop on to there.
And we are now joined with...
I'm Anya, I'm the women's captain.
And...
I'm Evan, I'm the vice captain.
So guys, that was a pretty tough match for you at the start. Obviously York got the advantage quite early on. How are you feeling about that?
I think it was kind of expected. We came in, with positive vibes, but our women are quite inexperienced this year. If you can tell, we only have 5 here, so
Am I right in saying between the last time you were here to now, there's only 2 players that played in the last match?
That is correct.
Crazy.
Yeah, so everyone else that we have here essentially is starting this year, which is quite intense to kind of go into this, with just less than a year experience.
Yeah, so as a captain, when you're going into those talks, obviously with quite a high, point margin at the beginning, what were you saying to the team to try and keep their head in the game? Because later in the match, those points got a bit longer, you strung together a few more passes, there's a lot more positive play, and in the end you managed to get a few more points. What were you saying to your team?
I think we're just kind of keeping it positive. I think, after every point we were giving each other high fives, being like, let's go, let's focus on those good things that we're doing, let's get those clinical, mistakes, let's just kind of tighten them up. I think it was really helpful to have our sideline as well. They were super cheerful, which is great.
And Evan, what do you think helped you for the sideline from your other teammates? Did you play in the Open this morning?
Yes, I did play in the Open. The vibes in the Open, a little bit down, but the mix, they really brought it. It helps having all of our
Sorry, do
team.
you mind bringing the mic? There we go.
Yeah, it really helps having all of our team there. It really helped keep the vibes and the energy high. We managed to get a few points, and that's all that we can really hope for coming into this game.
And what do you think your takeaways are going to be from this weekend of Roses? Obviously, you had your matches in the indoors happen earlier this weekend. What are you going to be saying in the next training session, potentially next week, or are you going to give yourself and your team the week off?
I'll probably take the week off. We've had quite an intense, boot camp leading up to this, but I think we're just going to kind of keep that positive energy that we've got going on. I think we'll learn from our mistakes. Obviously, the wind was a bit unpredictable today, so we'll keep working on that zone, keep working on those tight matches. But
yeah, talking about the wind, obviously, kind of the third team on that pitch. The winds kind of seems to go going to and against you. Obviously, York kind of caught you out sometimes by surprise with those break wind points. How was that kind of getting used to that and that high intensity on the switch and the turnaround?
I mean, I think it's just keeping that energy. I know I've said that a lot, but really that is what it is. I think it's also, practice. It's kind of hard to practice in the wind because, you only can get the conditions you're given, so it just depends on what you got. But yeah, I think it's just having trust in your teammates that you're going to make those grabs, that you're going to get those correct throws, all that
Especially
stuff.
when you had really good weather on the lead up to this. Yeah. And then today, suddenly, out of nowhere, the heavens decided to open up a bit and make the disc great. How does that affect the game, Evan, with especially it being raining?
It makes it a lot harder. You've got to think a lot more with your throws. When you're going upwind, you've got to release the disc much lower. When you're going downwind, you've got to release it a lot higher. It's just that extra thing to think about that really makes the game a lot more challenging when there's wind.
Of course. And also layout territory. We've seen a few acrobatics throughout this match. Did you have any tumbles yourself?
I got one layout D just in this corner. But
very impressive.
It's been a good game.
Good experience overall at Roses 2025?
Yeah.
And it looks like this probably won't be a massive influential game to the points tally for Lancaster. So how are you feeling as a Lancastrian overall?
I'm very happy that we're in the lead still. Hopefully we can close it out quite soon.
Yeah.
I don't know what's on next.
Probably within the next hour it might come home with you guys, and hopefully celebrations will continue.
Yeah.
But with saying all that, thank you so much for joining me here on roseslive.co.uk. Hopefully see you around later on. And that's kind of been Ultimate Frisbee Outdoor Mixed. Thank you for tuning in. That's the end of all of our Ultimate Frisbee coverage as well. So thank you for joining at roseslive.co.uk. Make sure to tune in for all the other sports as well as our studio. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks for listening. Roses Live is brought to you by URY and Balerig FM.